Hello and welcome to the Old Man Orange podcast. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And I'm Ryan Dunigan.
We got special guest
Sam Kern.
here today for our 70th podcast.
Already been 70th? Jesus.
The big 7-0.
That's big.
I guess our official anniversary starts like in 2 weeks or so, because the first podcast we ever did was Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, that was the intro to our podcast. I think really actually, what it really came from was like, there's Prometheus and we had all the stuff we wanted to talk about that, but we didn't end up doing the podcast till Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, exactly.
Prometheus is a good movie.
I love that movie.
A lot of people like to punch that movie in the dick, but I still think it's a good movie. I mean, it has its flaws, yeah, no doubt, but it's a good flick, I thought.
I think it's really good. That movie, it gets better every single time I watch it. I love that one. That was one of the best movies of the year, 2012.
Mm-hmm. And it's yeah. I was gonna say, I totally blanked out there.
Yeah,
it's a good movie, fucking good movie.
Aliens.
Yeah.
Here's a fun fact.
I'll say it's still better than Alien vs. Predator by a lot. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
Which one?
Still better than Alien 3.
Alien 3, yeah, better than Alien 3.
Here's a fun fact. I've been watching like the season sets of like the original Ninja Turtle show. You know all the music in that is made by Chuck Lorre?
Who's Chuck Lorre again?
He's the guy who created 2.5 Men and Big Bang.
Really?
And writes on all the episodes, and he also created Dharma and Greg. But he did the music on it.
That's kind of weird.
I saw his name in the credits, and I was like, could that be the same Chuck Lorre? And then I looked up, it's like, yeah, that's like the only soundtrack he ever created. He doesn't really have anything else under his belt.
Every once in a while you'll
I just came in one day, they said they needed music, so...
Every once in a while you'll get some odd-end things, like the guy who directed, I think he's one of 2 directors, on The Invention of Lion, Matt Smith.
Uh-huh.
He's on a podcast called Get Up On This with Jensen Karp, who I guess was a one-hit wonder rapper from the 90s. He's on the Smodcast Network.
Oh, really?
Anyway, he's on a podcast with him, and he talks about every so often just about random jobs he did in Hollywood. And he's like, oh yeah, I was like in an episode of some like dating show on MTV. I did some writing for like the Emmys. Yeah, it's just like sometimes in Hollywood you just get those weird end jobs that have nothing to do with each other.
Yeah, and then you go on to create a bunch of hit sitcoms.
Yeah.
So, but I thought this was really, I was like, oh, that's badass. I really think that the Ninja Turtles theme song is probably the best cartoon show opening theme.
It's catchy.
Can you think of a better theme than that one, though?
I know, I really love like the 90s, like Sonic the Hedgehog.
That's another really good one too. And then also, like the Transformers one, but the versions in the movie.
The versions in the movie.
The versions in the movies was kind of it's just like a better one. It's just like the ones in the show. It's like
it's
good,
the
but it's just kind of like
movie.
it's just like one guy's in a room, like okay,
Like on a keyboard or something.
Yeah. And then the movie one's like, no, we got a full like metal band in here to sing this one now.
All right, you're talking about the real movie.
The real movie, the 1985 one. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
As I said, 80s. Mm-hmm. Michael Bay didn't make one in the 80s.
No, Transformers 80s Transformers movie. That would have been probably tough to sit through. Probably easier to sit.
In the 80s, it probably would have been better actually.
Dudes, and I guess it would have been fun.
I was just thinking, perfect example of Transformers. Just think of Godzilla.
Godzilla.
That like it would look like that.
Yeah.
And what, you got a problem with Godzilla now?
I don't got a problem with Godzilla. I just
it's one of those things. Godzilla?
I don't got no problem with Godzilla. I guess it's just more of a retro
There's a guy
thing.
in like a Godzilla costume, like pushing you up against the wall, like what? What?
Trying to put me on a fucking work, man. What the fuck's this shit? Yeah. No, I just think it would be like with robots and all that. I think it would just look. It would be like watching an episode of Power Rangers, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It would have been badass, I think.
Some of that stuff is just harder to sit through now to me, I guess. I mean, I could still enjoy old Godzilla, but other things like Power Rangers or whatever, like, I don't know, for whatever reason, I have trouble sitting through that.
Well, but not really, but the story would have been better, if it's a movie. Mm-hmm. Power Rangers is just a TV show.
Yeah.
So I'm talking about movie
level.
I'm just talking
and also in quality of the suits or whatever they would have been in, So, yeah.
I don't know.
So I
guess those ones, I always like live action stuff more than like CG.
Mm-hmm. Well, CG's good. That's the one thing I can really give those movies is the CG.
The CG, yeah.
That's the one thing I can really give those flicks. But regarding that, though...
really, the real, like almost like the mix of Godzilla and Transformers is that Pacific Rim coming out, and they have that new trailer.
That actually looks pretty good. I'm not really super big on a bunch of mech stuff, but it looks like what they're doing is just take a bunch of different mech, like TV shows and animes and whatever, and just throw them into one thing.
Yeah, and it just has like a mix of like Godzilla. That's what it really reminds me of.
I saw some Evangelion in there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because they showed their suits filling up with this liquid or whatever in their suits, and in Evangelion, they're actually, the whole thing fills up with this breathable liquid.
Huh.
Yeah.
That movie looks cooler and cooler the more I see trailers for it.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious about it. Plus, Charlie Day is the
I saw that.
scientist
I
or
like
whatever. So I'm glad. It's Always Sunny. I fell behind. Is that still running?
It probably is. It's like I never watch anything off TV anymore. It's always like if I see it's on season sets.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way.
Because I fucking hate commercials.
Yeah, at that same point too, right here.
So have you ever seen It's Always Sunny?
Oh yeah.
Like that show?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh yeah.
It's a pretty funny one.
You guys are talking about Charlie, who wrote Every Day
Yeah.
Sunny. So
Well, they all.
The three main guys are like they all pretty much created that show.
yeah.
Even though now like the writing's been handed off just to like a team of writers.
Which makes sense. Eventually, you're probably gonna run out of shit. So you
Yeah, you just
pass
get
on
run
to
out of
someone
ideas
else.
and you don't want to do as much work because you got more money now and you're like, fuck it.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, I'll say this, the first season is still, I think, my favorite season.
Yeah,
of the
I think
show.
I really do because I think that one it just feels the most true. Like it's these guys that are really putting forth all they got. This stuff they've probably been working on for years.
I mean, even the newer stuff's still funny. I saw one of the new episodes, I mean, probably not new by this point, but when they were, new to me, when they were stranded out in the woods and like, they become friends with the rabbit and, like, Danny DeVito's like, the rabbit has my soul, we can't kill it, you know?
Oh, I see that one.
And then, like, they end up going to, there's some baseball player Mac was in love with, and they go, like, you know, he says, oh, like, you know, I think it's Charlie and Dennis, and, like, I think Dennis is pretending he's Mac.
Uh-huh.
He just sends a picture of him with, like, taking a picture of his favorite baseball player or whatever.
That was I did see that one on TV. But I feel like sometimes with the newer shows, and I think this kind of goes with any show, once you kind of hand off the reins to somebody else kind of writing it, you notice that the comedy is just a slight bit off, like, because it's somebody else's, like, perception of how you do comedy. That's kind of how I feel. So it's like, it's not really in a sense the same, like, people think it's the same comedy, but it's just in their brain it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, yeah. But what was I going to say regarding It's Always Sunny? It seems like, I'm wondering if any of them are actually, I'm hoping all those actors, I think they're all really funny. I'm hoping they're all going to get work after that, because sometimes they have, TV stars have trouble branching out into film. I mean, Charlie Day.
Charlie's been into, like, about 3 or 4 or 5 movies by now.
I'm not going to see that movie, but the Heat, Dee, the chick that plays Dee, is in the trailer to that movie.
Okay, at least she's got something.
So yeah, but I never see Dennis or Mac anywhere.
I mean...
Dan DeVito, you don't got to worry about.
No, you don't worry about him.
Might see like Rickety Cricket somewhere. But today's actually another thing. Today's 4th of July.
Oh, yeah, the big 4th.
Oh good.
Do you know what year it is from 1776?
What year is it from 1776?
Yeah, I mean, how many years has it been?
I've been keeping track. I don't have a calculator.
No, you don't have to figure that out. We're in America, you know.
We're America. We don't gotta fucking do math here. We got nerds to do that for us.
Well, today, since it was the 4th, we have seen The Lone Ranger.
Mm-hmm.
Which is really Johnny Depp and The Lone Ranger. I think that's what it really is more than anything else.
Or White Tonto and his friend.
Yeah, because Johnny Depp really is the main character of this movie. It is not the Lone Ranger. He is the sidekick now.
Well, it almost plays it off kind of like, to me what it did is it plays it off, it makes sense because it's by Gore Verbinski, but it plays it off kind of like Pirates of the Caribbean, where Orlando Bloom is kind of the main character, but it's Johnny Depp who kind of has all the
It's his
solutions,
movies, yeah.
who's moving along. I mean, I just mean Pirates of the Caribbean 1, not 2 or 3. But number 1, because Orlando Bloom is the main character. It's mainly his stuff that's the main focus. It just, Johnny Depp's the one is the one that's there to look cool and has all the answers.
Except for this one, even Johnny Depp's name comes first in the credits.
Yeah. It is kind of Tonto and the other guy.
It really is.
White Tonto and the other guy.
Yeah, White Tonto, even though when he was a boy, he's played by a Native American.
And they paid for that name to be up there, so...
Yeah. Makes sense.
never know.
I guess it made sense because he was executive producer on the movie.
Yeah, he was.
Oh,
So
really?
I put my name first.
So I don't know who's going to tell Johnny Depp what he can and can't do. And we're kind of reaching this point, like, Spencer and I have this joke where it's called, where we just, like, Johnny Depp can almost have like a children's show called Johnny Depp and His Silly Hats.
Because think about the last 10 years worth of Johnny Depp movies. Like 90% of those movies, it's Johnny Depp wearing a silly hat, bumbling around.
That's true, like Sweeney Todd.
Sweet Todd. Well, yeah, he has kind of like
a silly
yeah,
wig.
He has a silly wig. Yeah,
Yeah.
a silly wig. But it's kind of like it though, you know.
Close
Think about that.
enough.
Like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Pirates of the Caribbean. He's always got a silly hat on, and he's bumbling around kind of.
Kind of subject of every movie.
I guess he's not really bumbling as much in Sweeney Todd, but
He's
That's
bumbling, or he's either bumbling,
Or he's kind of hunched over, and
he's like, has an angry like scowl on his face the whole time, looking out of a window, plotting revenge. It's always something kind of like that,
Still, yeah.
I didn't see that fucking whatchamacallit, the vampire one, Dark Shadows.
Oh, Dark Shadows.
I didn't
But
see
that was based off like the 1960s TV show.
Yeah, I didn't see that one. But...
No, I didn't see it either.
It's alright.
Was it okay?
Yeah, I give it like 5 out of 10.
It looked
about
great.
half.
The one thing that kind of like, it wasn't the fact that it was Tim Burton. It was Tim Burton doing comedy. So that was the one thing. I'm like, maybe, because it looked kind of like it was trying to rehatch Beetlejuice. But then I'm like, then again, because Tim Burton, he's kind of at this point where he's like, I don't got to try. I just got to put Johnny Depp front and center, silly hat, goth makeup, good to go.
Yeah, there we go. There's money making movie right there.
Exactly. Yeah. Funny thing about that movie, I didn't see it, but I heard it like in like an interview somewhere. Johnny Depp, because in that movie he was wearing like prosthetics for his fingers that have the long nails, and apparently there's some. So whenever I see that movie, whenever I see him and his pulling of his fingers, I just kind of cringe, because. But there's on the poster and all that, because apparently he had to have somebody wipe his ass for him. He had somebody on stage. I wonder if like, we gotta bring in a fucking intern for this, because nobody.
Hey son, you said you always want to be in the motion picture business.
Yeah.
I got the job just for you, Billy.
You like Johnny Depp? Oh boy, do I! Wait.
Well, now you and Johnny are gonna go in that bathroom. Wait, whoa, I didn't say. You said you want to be in the motion picture business, right, boy? You could be the next star. You could be Johnny Depp.
All you gotta do is wipe his ass. Trust me, it's a lot simpler this day. You just gotta wipe his ass. You just have to suck his dick.
So yeah, I sucked Marlon Brando's dick. Wiped his ass too. Look where it got me.
I'm a key grip now.
You could be a key grip too.
Fucking sad, but yeah. So now whenever I see like him on a poster for that movie, just see those fingernails, I'm like, oh, what had to be done to get the? You think in this day and age, like, just do that in post. That's one of those things. Just digitally animate that shit.
Yeah, or is it even that necessary in the first place?
I don't know.
Now, I haven't watched the TV show. That's where you kind of say, like,
yeah.
Is it necessary for Spock to have those pointy ears? Really?
Yeah.
Seems like that's a time-concerning effort.
Ears
He's gotta get makeup on and stuff.
His bowl cut. Actually, the new Spock, whatever his name is, I forgot his name.
We'll just call him New Spock from now on. Just
New
like
Spock?
Old Spock's kind of like Old Spock.
Yeah.
Old Spock's Leonard Nimoy.
Old Spock's
He always
kind
be
of like
Leonard
Old
Nimoy.
Spice.
Old Spice.
Get your Old Spock.
Get Leonard Nimoy.
Deodorant for the future.
Get like Leonard Nimoy in those Old Spice commercials.
Old Spock.
No, but like that guy can rock a bowl cut. Usually the bowl cut looks fucking retarded, but New Spock can rock a bowl cut, make it look
Well, because
alright.
he doesn't have like the actual bowl cut. The actual bowl cut's that one where like they literally
It cuts off.
yeah. So you have like this weird oddly. It's like Mo from like the Three Stooges. That's how I always think of a bowl cut.
I always kind of. I'll jump back on topic in a second. I just want to get this off my chest. I was rereading Superman Doomsday a little bit ago. Guy Gardner has one of those bowl cuts in there.
Really?
And
that was kind of a popular haircut in the 90s for some reason again.
I know, for some reason. I have
It's right
no
there
idea.
with the rat tail too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good.
Rat tail. Oh, I almost forgot about the rat tail.
It's like for the guy who doesn't have that luxurious mullet, here's the rat tail.
And there's this part. It really says a lot because when they were pretty much Superman Doomsday, or Death of Superman.
Doomsday's the movie.
Doomsday's the movie. Yeah, I get mixed up. I think the movie's actually a little better. Some people may say blasphemy, but that's what I think.
I think because it sums it up.
Sums it up, and yeah, plus
The movie doesn't have that 90s kid in it.
doesn't have that shitty 90s kid. And I'm coming back to that shitty 90s kid because what happens is, Sam, have you read the comic Death of Superman?
Yeah.
You know the part when before shit goes down, there's the ground people that are trying to destroy Metropolis, and like I think through somehow they end up unleashing Doomsday or something. And Superman comes and says, "No, let's solve all these problems." Like, all right, cool, whatever. Something around those lines. And then Superman then goes to like a assembly for children. It's a live feed. And it's just trying to show this thing, how out of touch he is with 90s kids. And they're all these shitty little kind of like, they're either kind of like, yo, whatever, man, being a superhero's lame. They're either that, or they're kind of like, do you have to fight the supervillains? Why don't you just try talking to them? They're either one of those two stereotypes.
And it's like, son, have you ever worked a job in your life? No, man, my parents fucking make money. I just hang out at college and smoke weed. And
these are like elementary, middle school kids or something.
Well, fuck, I just hang out at elementary, like middle school, and I just smoke weed. My parents pay for everything.
Some college kid just hanging out at elementary school.
Yeah, whatever, man. I don't have to graduate.
You see that movie Slacker? That's my dream.
It's just the talk for 2 hours about stuff that has nothing to do with anything.
Anyway,
You ever see that movie Slacker?
No, I haven't actually.
It's what's his name? The guy who did Dazed and Confused and School of Rock. It's
I'm drawing a blank on his name.
I always draw blanks when it comes to these sometimes.
I
know that
not
guy.
Zimmerman, but
No, fuck, he's got a really interesting name too. He's done tons of movies.
Not Zemeckis.
No,
No, that's
Robert
Robert's Forrest Gump.
But whatever.
Anyway,
It's a movie that came before Dazed and Confused, and really all it is just a movie about people talking about conspiracies the whole time. 2 hours or an hour and a half of this. It's still an interesting movie just to watch for like, it's like, wow, you could make a movie like this and fucking get away with just a lot of like 5-minute long shots. Interesting. It's worth your educational time to watch it.
Inspiration
but other than that, though,
for Clerks.
Yeah.
Well, anyways.
Well, I think what's one of the movies you watch, you're like, fuck, dude, if this guy can make a movie, anybody can make a movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though that guy goes on to make a bunch of amazing movies, but
yeah. But anyway, so the kids are all saying like, I got a question. How big are Wonder Woman's tits or something stupid around those lines? Like, awesome, dude, high five. And one guy's like, hey, man, why'd you guys kick out Guy Gardner? Guy Gardner was a total badass. You know, that generation has trouble. Is that steak when they're looking up to a guy in a bowl cut?
Yeah. The bowl cut.
When you look up to someone in the bowl cut, and he was like the smart ass. He's like, oh, yeah, like, you know, because at some point they come, like, all the members of the Justice League you don't fucking care about. Like, I think Fire... or Fiera, whatever her name is, Fire, Guy Gardner, Booster Gold, other people.
Booster Gold.
All come in, they're trying to stop Doomsday. And then, like, Guy Gardner's all talking shit. Of course, Superman comes in the way, and that's where you have that one shitty 90s kid who comes home. He's wearing, like, a black shirt that says Axel or something like that.
Yeah, doesn't he have, like, a backwards cap on and, like, blonde hair?
He has a long brown hair, backwards cap, flannel jacket, and just jeans. He's like, man, I gotta go home to the war zone. This life fucking sucks. Such a bunch of bullshit. He goes in there like, hey, sweetie, just the nicest mom ever. She's like, well, we have any soda. This fucking sucks.
Fuck you, Mom. Why don't you buy some soda? Do something useful for once.
This is why Dad left. And, like, you know, Doomsday comes, like, breaking into the house, and the fight continues, and kids sitting there cross-armed, like
whatever.
Man, they should get Guy Gardner in here. Guy Gardner could save the day with his fucking bowl cut, you know.
Bowl cut solves everything.
You know, there's problems with the generation when they look up to a guy in a bowl cut. That's all I'm saying.
That and when they're just not impressed with Superman fighting, like...
a monster that can kill anything?
Yeah, you know, there's like, you know, if Superman was outside your house fighting, and you're like, yo, whatever, that's not cool. I've seen cooler.
And there's a part where, like, Doomsday flat out punches him right in the chest, and Superman's, like, sitting with his chest out. The mom says, this is kind of poorly written, this comic, I think, but there's like, oh my god, it looks like that punch could have destroyed a mountain. The kid's sitting there just like, arms crossed, in the background like, whatever, you know, and he says like, the Spud didn't duck.
He's like, Spud? You fucking pussy.
I wonder if that was like just a slang that just was hung out for like maybe 2 months that we don't remember from grade school or something.
I've only heard the word Spud in comics. I've never heard it anywhere else. I don't know if it's just somebody thought this, like, I'm so in touch with the new lingo. I'm gonna create my own word, and just never panned out.
Like he goes, like whoever wrote that, like goes talks to his kid, like, hey, that guy, one guy's a total spud, right? The kids just get quiet and just look at him. Dad, what the fuck was that?
Dad, I know you're Irish and all, but just because you come from a potato farmer family, doesn't mean that you got to use like Spud for everything.
Okay, so Spud, just calm down.
You're being a real Spud right now. Why don't you just go Spud off in your room?
Oh, look, honey, they launched Spudnik.
One day this word will take off.
One day. We're bringing Spud back.
Spud.
All it really takes is just, like, one person to hear it. He's like, what the fuck is that? Goes talk to someone else. That person says it to him. He's like, maybe this is a real thing. He says to someone else, like, what the fuck? You know?
Well, speaking of Spuds, there was a real Spud in the movie theater today.
Yeah, back to the real point.
There was this guy. Sometimes there's some people that, like, I don't know if they get out enough, but they literally think that everything that moves in a movie is funny. Like, you know, there's some people like, oh, no, no.
Only this guy was about to die.
There's this guy afterwards like, oh. It felt like the guy was just going to roll over and have a heart attack.
Really felt like that.
I know, just like, I look back at this guy just like holding his chest. Just like, oh, that's so funny. Johnny Depp is wearing a funny hat. I fucking love it. Funny hat. Funny hat.
That horse is smart.
How did it get on top of that building? Who the fuck knows?
Now the
Past
horse.
the KFC.
Now the horse is now standing on a fucking tree.
What'd you think about Lone Ranger?
Honestly, I thought it was a good movie.
I thought it was pretty good too.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I mean, it was kind of like I wasn't expecting, a wild bunch of Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I knew it was going to be kind of like, a mom and pop in Oklahoma Western. And slightly over
I
the
wonder if
top.
we have any Oklahoma listeners. Like, my mom, pa, are like good, bad, and the ugly, you motherfucker. You know?
Hey, don't blame me. It's, what's his name? Fucking Jerry Bruckheimer saying. He made the movie. I picked that saying up from Top Gun.
Top Gun?
Well, in the special features, he's like, when Jerry Bruckheimer's talking, he's like, you always gotta have your movies like, see how they appeal to mom and pop in Oklahoma, because that's where the real money's at.
Oh, okay. Jerry Bruckheimer.
I'm not gonna, he made a lot of money, so when it comes down to money, don't question him.
If Jerry Bruckheimer says it, it's not condescending.
He has a fucking tree for a logo.
With a lightning bolt, and that tree is still standing.
The tree grows from the lightning bolt.
No, that says a lot.
I know. You can't trust a man who can create a tree
It's
with
a
a lightning
thunder
bolt.
tree. Other trees need sun. This one needs fucking thunder. Jerry Bruckheimer, fucking man land. Sorry, go ahead.
But Lone Ranger, though. Even though it was kind of like Tonto in the Lone Ranger. And, Johnny Depp, even though he was kind of the bumbling guy, I mean, he really didn't go out of his way. He just really puts the costume on, he's like, I already got this in the bag. If I just kind of be my new character profile, I'm pretty good.
Jack Sparrow, kind of with a dead bird on his head.
Yeah, that he feeds constantly.
Yeah, is that in an old show?
No,
They
yeah,
feed the
I
bird?
don't remember. See, I watched Lone Ranger and like Zorro and all that stuff back when I was a kid. But it's kind of the point now where it's like, I remember who these characters are, but that's about as far as it goes. My memory just doesn't remember all that.
I remember some of the sayings and all that, like Hi-Ho Silver.
Yeah, Hi-Ho Silver. I was kind of waiting for that the whole time in the movie. I was like, when are they going to say that? I know they're going to say it for the end. They always do that nowadays, but...
And they gotta do the look to the audience like we know, because after he says it, like Johnny Depp has this look on his face like, never say that again.
It's like, what's wrong with that saying? That's the one thing, like, to me, I gotta think, like, well, that's a saying.
Isn't that the trademark of it?
Yeah, it's just like, that's just saying. People just nowadays, like, they're like, fuck you and your sayings. I fucking hate sayings. And I'm not calling him Superman.
I think they'll call him Superman by the next one.
They better, not just like
They
the
eventually-
fucking intern who, like, brings in the coffee. If that's the only guy calling him Superman, we got a problem here.
Well, at least that's your only problem with the movie.
Well, I guess technically Lois Lane had, yeah. That's really my only problem with that Superman. Did you see Superman yet?
Yeah, so it was actually pretty good.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, too. It's like, back to those fucking people going like, oh, Superman kills just as many people going through buildings. I was watching Justice League Unlimited, even some of, like, the movies again. It's like, that happens in every fucking movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's always, even in the comics, they always go through the buildings and all that stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he's Superman. He knows his surroundings.
Yeah.
He knows his surroundings better than anybody.
And plus,
read through buildings, man.
Yeah, I mean, like...
I know we said this like 3 times on the podcast already, but generally anybody who's in the area was probably already fucking dead or evacuated.
Exactly. Because, pretty much, if there's 2 giant spiders, like,
DPing the world.
yeah, you get the fuck out of there or you're already dead.
But anyway, back to this flick, though. I thought this one was actually... I liked the movie. Here's the thing about it. There are things about it that I really liked, and there are things about it that really just kind of bothered me, because I kind of knew going in they're going to add some comedy to it, but it was kind of that point of kind of like an Iron Man 3 amount of comedy.
Well, I guess here's the thing. It wasn't Pirates of the Caribbean 1, because I always look at that. That's actually a pretty darn good movie. There's really nothing you can complain about in it. And that one's like, it's adventure, and it's got like a taste of comedy.
Yeah.
But as the second and third one kind of goes on, they always kind of throw more comedy in it. And where this one feels like, instead of the first one kind of being a little bit more serious, it feels like they did throw in more comedy, I will say.
Yeah.
There was quite a bit, more than necessary. I don't think it was nearly as bad as like an Iron Man 3, but that's really just like comparing,
Well, my only thing on Iron Man 3 with that is generally I think the story's pretty good. It wasn't so much the lack of action or anything, because it all works out. I think the story's good, but I had trouble taking the movie seriously just because the amount of comedy that was in it.
Yeah.
And this movie kind of has some of the same problems, I think, where it's just, if you go from point A to point B for the story, if you just look at it strictly for the story and the action and the visuals, really good, but then there are moments where, like, there's the part where all the Apaches die, and they're,
They're not Apaches, they're Comanches.
The Comanches, yeah. And then he goes and he picks up, like... Because I think they use a lot of good imagery. Like the part that they show him several times picking up, like, the dead bird and looking at it with, like, a sad look and putting it on his head and all that. Like when he's a kid.
Yeah, that was really... I like that scene a lot.
like that. And then, but then as soon as he does that, though, after this powerful scene, they hear the horse. They look off. The horse is wearing a cowboy hat on top of the tree for some reason. He's like, something wrong with that horse.
No,
Oh, heart attack! In the background.
Funny hats. I love it. I'm part of the Funny Hat Club.
So it was kind of like that, and
it combines kind of like, it's almost like they're trying to put too much into one movie, where it's kind of like, well, you got action and adventure, but then we got dramatic and comedy.
And the other thing about it that sort of bothered me, because we already said, it's kind of like Johnny Depp's sort of the main character of the movie, to an extent. I mean, really, it's more like Armie Hammer is the main character, but Johnny Depp keeps, like, elbowing him out of the way, like, move over.
He fucking even backhands him at one point in time, just to really show he's like, I'm the fucking main character. You get that fucking correct.
He actually said that. They ADR'd the other line.
Same thing he said to Orlando Bloom in Pirates of the Caribbean.
That whole part when he has him hanging on the sail in Pirates of the Caribbean, he says, like, just so you know, I'm the fucking main character, alright? This shit, I will drown your ass right fucking now if the camera's rolling. I was in 21 Jump Street. Don't fuck with me.
You little elf faggot.
Yeah. And they ADR'd the lines, like, this is what a man can do and what a man will do, and, so...
If you watch, the lip sync's actually off.
Yeah. Like a kung fu film, yeah. But, I thought that but one thing with it was, I thought Armie Hammer, when he was serious, he did a pretty good job. But there were moments where he was just blatantly just tripping over his balls the whole movie. And he was just kind of like... There's the part when, like, he's about to get executed, shit's going down, and some of the Comanches come in and kind of save the day. Mm-hmm. And then Tonto's doing the little up and down crank thing on the truck, on the little...
the little pushcart thing. I've always wanted to ride one of those.
I know,
It's like those... I look at those and I'm like... Dude, think about that. That'd be like one of the best things. Pack up a big fat ice chest and just kind of go across until you get run by a train. That's about the only thing that's gonna happen. But
they're pretty awesome.
Go cross country in one of those.
That'd be awesome. I'd be down for that.
It's
if they still had them.
Yeah, I know. You probably find one.
Well, there's a part where he's...
Fuck this rail town down the street.
But it probably goes just like, maybe 100 feet and stops. But anyway, Tonto kind of saves him, and what happens is he's about to get shot. It's kind of a dramatic scene. He has a blindfold around. He's just about to go out. And then Tonto comes by on a little pushcart, pushes him out of the way, and they're going, and he's standing there the whole time with eye blindfolded, and the girl's there. He's just like, Elizabeth, or whatever, I'll save you! And he's just going away, being pushed away. It's just like, dude, come on. Just cut back on the comedy just a little bit.
Uh-huh.
It's like that kind of stuff that just kind of ruins... I mean, it didn't ruin the movie, because I still enjoyed it, and I still liked it, and I'm just glad there's a big Western out right now.
It's good to see a Western. I feel like it's like, some people will go see any musical that comes out. Mm-hmm. Other people will go see any comic book movie that comes out. I do feel that it's like our duty is to see any Western that comes out.
I kind of feel that way because, like our friend Cisco, he really likes musicals. And we're like, of course he's going to go see it. It's a musical, but I can't really say anymore. Because
it's like, well, it's a Western.
I got to go see it. That
always pulls us in.
So...
And it's like, I guess I just kind of I see what, this movie, it didn't have that thing Iron Man 3... I think what bothered me is they made this such a serious trailer. Mm-hmm. They're like, this shit is getting serious, it's getting dark, it's life or death at this point.
That's just the marketing campaign.
Yeah, and there's like, whoop, 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 Iron Man 3,
I mean, I still like the movie, I just wasn't blown away by it, but...
And then Lone Ranger's kind of like, I already kind of knew that coming in, that I'm like, I know this is going to be kind of like a half-half movie. It's going to be an action-adventure, but it's also going to be having comedy in it, too.
Yeah.
So it's like, I guess I kind of expected a little bit more of that. I wasn't led into, I'm going to use Iron Man 3 again, because I was really led into that movie, the wrong way. I think if they had a real, Iron Man 3 trailer that kind of just showed almost what the movie's about, I probably wouldn't have saw that in theaters.
You probably wouldn't have saw it?
No, the trailer was really what sold me on that, because I've never really been, I like Iron Man the character, but the movies have never really, the first one, that one's not bad. The second one, the action scenes are what kind of, it's slight saving grace, but it's that opening that's the
and Mickey Rourke.
Opening. Yeah, and Mickey Rourke, who has the same haircut and fucking
Expendables.
But the Iron Man movies are not really been my favorite ones, and for some reason those are people's favorite superhero movies nowadays.
I really like Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, whatever. Iron Man 3, better than Iron Man 2, but just like we said, but I still say better.
I'm not saying they're those movies that are they're god awful. I'm just saying that to me they're just okay.
I'd say it's still better than Iron Man 2 because it's still
it's
moving. It's way better because it's moving consistently. There's a little bit more action. The story moves at a logical pace. Or Iron Man 2 for a while, I was I don't know what the fuck to do. Yeah, just kind of sitting around his house for a while.
And then it's big action scene at the very end.
Yeah.
And as well, like, those have never really been my favorite ones. But if there was actually a trailer that actually really kind of, like, gave away, like, this is what this movie's about, this is the tone of the movie, it's like, I don't know. Because I really went to Iron Man 3 based on that trailer. That trailer is what sold it to me. Mm-hmm. It's not like it was, like, the worst thing. It's not like I'm like, I regret that. I want my money back now, boy. Mm-hmm. It's like, no.
You would have saw it eventually.
Yeah, I would have saw it eventually. I just might not have been dragged to the theater. Then again, though, what the fuck else am I going to do that week?
Shane Black also directed.
Yeah, actually, Shane Black. That was my other thing, too, because I really liked him.
Yeah. Speaking of which, in Marvel movies, you see the trailer for the Thor one.
Thor 2?
Yeah.
That actually, it looks cool. I don't know.
Yeah.
Thor 1, at first I was kind of a little mixed on it. Now I
actually liked that movie a lot more the second time I saw it.
Same here, because I think my only problem is, like, you know, for about 15 minutes, it's kind of silly and kind of campy. But then once they actually, because everything in Asgard...
it's like all the lines that Kat Dennings has gave, it's like, you always just want to, like, slap the shit out of that girl. And that movie, she's a fine actress in all her other movies, but that movie, though, you're like, she says some stupid shit. And then the second time I watch it, I actually kind of count, I'm like, you know, it's like, really, it's like, there's like 5 stupid sayings in that movie. Mm-hmm. And it's like, those 5 sayings, the first time I watched it, really bothered me. Like, I was like, fuck! They're ruining Thor! It's a legendary thing! I was probably like the same guy who'd come out like a Jesus picture, like, that's not how it went down! That's not how it went down! And then it's like, I went back, it's like, oh, you know, really, it's like, you know, it's actually still a pretty good movie. It's like, just including those like 5 lines. And...
Well, I thought it turned into kind of like a romantic comedy for like the middle part of the movie.
Yeah, that's kind of like the problem with it.
But
I'm not saying it's an amazing movie. I'm just saying it's like
came back around though, and ended up being a good movie for the most part. And I think this one, what's going to be good about it is it takes place because everything in Thor, I loved Asgard. It looks like this one's going to be taking place in Asgard, most of it.
So I wonder if Kat Dennings is in it. If she's not in it,
she's in it for a second. They show her.
Hopefully, she just has one line. It'll probably be a stupid line, but hopefully, it's just one line.
Back on Lone Ranger for a second. Well, I thought it was actually, it seems like some of the movies, like, I'm not sure if we already said this, but it seems like it kind of like tries to apologize for certain things about the old show. Like, what's with the mask? Everyone keeps on asking about that. And
yeah.
Armie Hammer never really has an answer for it. It's like, oh, well, I don't know. I'm just kind
of... I just kind of hate that. Yeah, they kind of do that, like they're kind of like, you call it apologizing. I think that's kind of true. It's like, why apologize? Just go with it. Like, fuck, there's like a train that's like rolling across like the ground. Can't we just kind of go with the fact that like he's wearing a mask?
There's also some things in the movie that...
I'm pretty sure in the Western days people don't question, like, why the mask, you know?
Yeah. You robbed the bank.
Yeah,
some shit like that.
It felt like a Cub Scout character to me, you know, that personality as a Cub Scout, jolly good boy type deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, they make him, like, almost like... I don't even remember, like, in the show being, like, that good of a boy. Like, the fact that, like... I could have swore they killed people in the show.
Yeah.
Because back in the old days, you killed people left and right, whatever.
I think they still killed a few people, but... I know Tonto did.
Well, Tonto had no problem killing people. Like,
Armie Hammer set it up to kill people, but what was I going to say about that? I thought that the thing with the Lone Ranger in this film, I understand the whole thing about being too good and wanting to do everything by the book. I understand that back and forth for a while. You're trying to make it interesting because the thing about most westerns, it opens up. Clint Eastwood's already a badass. Robert Redford's already a badass. Mm-hmm. You know, like
any Sam Peckinpah movie.
Any Sam Peckinpah movie. I was thinking, William Holden's already a badass, you know, so it's always kind of like that. So
Sam Elliott's already a badass.
Exactly.
Kurt Russell's already a badass.
So I don't have a problem with the whole, like, seeing him become the Lone Ranger. That's cool with me, and I understand the whole, like, I don't want to do this, but it seems they just did too much of him just tripping and fumbling around. And
it was literally towards the end of the movie, he's still like, I really don't, like, almost like guys, like, he doesn't even like violence. Like, no, don't kick that guy. Mm-hmm. Just because this guy killed my brother and, like, all his friends, don't hurt him. He's still a human being.
You gotta take him in by the law. Come on, you know. I mean, you see the guy is great. He's not a pussy because he does go out of his way to help people, even when because he starts off as a DEA agent.
DEA.
District Attorney.
Yeah, not DEA though.
Did I say DEA?
Yeah, he's not a drug enforcement agency.
I didn't come into like the 70s. Yeah.
I mean DEA from like Nixon. Yeah.
Yeah. Never mind. DEA, not DEA. Of course, I haven't saying that. I read a lot of Batman. They always refer back to like government agencies. Anyway, so
pretty much he's Harvey Dent.
He's Harvey Dent.
There we go.
If things turned out right in the 1800s.
Now Ryan understands. He's a Batman reference.
Okay. So, no, but yeah, I understand the whole point of making him trying to be like all, trying to be overly good and then saying, no, fuck this at the end. But it just, like I said, he's tripping around too much. He's falling over his face the whole time, you know. So, And they do it so comically throughout the whole movie. I mean, there are moments where the dramatic and serious parts, they really work. Like the part when Johnny Depp, when they show like young Johnny Depp and he accidentally sells out his whole tribe for like to show these men they saved where the gold is, and not the gold, the silver, and then they kill everybody. It shows him picking up the bird, and just the imagery they use of him just picking this dead bird out of the water. Bird. Yeah, you know. So
which one thing I can't figure out though is like, how is that bird like
not rotted?
Yeah, exactly. He's been on his fucking head for like 80 years.
Magic.
That ran through my head too. So.
Yeah, because I mean, like, the movie opens up like it's 1933 in San Francisco, and there's like a little boy in a cowboy suit who's like goes to a museum and talks to Tonto, and that's how the story's told. And he's still got that bird on his head. It's like, wow, that bird is.
Unless he switches them out, I don't know. Or he had the thing. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he took it.
Yeah, it's stuffed.
Yeah, it's stuffed. Just puts it on his head.
That might be true.
Or it's just Indian magic. We don't know.
Yeah, we'll never know.
It implies the idea that he turns in, like, it implies that he can kind of speak to all the animals and he can see where things are at. Because there's a part where he's doing the whole, like, little thing in his jail cell.
Yeah.
And then the bird actually turns with its mouth open or something to the kid. The kid runs out the door screaming. Not the kid at the museum, but the
kid in the
actual time, in the actual story.
Yeah.
And then you see a crow flying over where everybody gets killed in that canyon, and then Johnny Depp heads there. So I think they're trying to play. There is some kind of like supernatural mystic stuff to it.
Well, it does kind of carry like the thing that's like it's like a West, so it bases more off like the legends and like the fantasy kind of element of the West and like the tall tales and the conspiracies and things like that.
Yeah, which Stephen Root being Milton.
Milton.
Like for being like one of the evil
Was he like was he the mayor?
He wasn't the mayor. He was like the head of the railroad company.
Oh, okay, that's what it was.
And then what was the one guy? Tom Wilkins.
Was that the bad guy?
Tom Wilkins was the railroad guy, and then Will Fitchner was the guy with the cut lip.
Okay, yeah. That guy played a good bad guy.
That guy, you know who that guy is right there?
Who is he?
He's in a bunch of movies. He's either one of two things. He's either the most smallest part possible, or he's like he's like the main bad guy or something. He was in he was the pilot in Armageddon, who is all like I like to shake the hand of the daughter who's the bravest man I ever met. He's
okay, guy. I know that guy.
Also, he was in He had a cameo in Dark Knight when he's the guy that comes out the shotgun like, you and your friends are dead. You know whose bank this is? That guguy.
Okay, I know that guy. Yes.
So yeah.
Huh. So he's in quite a bit of stuff.
He's in a lot of things. Yeah. He's also in Black Hawk Down. He was like one of the soldiers there. He was kind of there's the more inexperienced like. There's the inexperienced like guy who's in charge, and he was the guy who was talking shit to him in Black Hawk Down. That guy.
Well, I haven't seen Black Hawk Down in a while. Yeah. That's the one I'd have to look up again.
Yeah. I watched it a little bit ago. That movie.
Well, I bought it not that long. I bought it like a couple of years ago, and I just still haven't watched it again since. Like, it was one of those movies I remember watching a couple times when it came out, and like haven't seen it since. That happens with a lot of movies, though.
Yeah.
You just only enough time in life for.
And I didn't see this
movies.
I didn't see this one, but he was the main bad guy in Drive Angry.
Oh, okay.
With Nick Cage.
I still kind of wonder what that movie's like.
I'm curious.
It perks my interest slightly.
Mm-hmm. We'll see.
Did you see that one?
No, I have not.
Oh, okay. It's got Nicolas Cage in it.
I kind of gave up on Nicolas Cage. Great actor, but
a lot of people have given up on Nicolas Cage.
I think that
I still have faith that he can pull off something.
He can do good films here and there. I mean, every so often we see him in a movie like Adaptation, where he did a great job. He did a great job in Kick-Ass. He was like one of the best parts of Kick-Ass.
He was the best part of Kick-Ass.
I feel like when he's the main character, the movie ends up being a bad movie. But like if he's like a non-main character, the movie's great. He basically pulled Johnny Depp.
Adaptation is an exception to that, but generally I think.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. Like now, if we go back to his older movies, like anywhere from like Con Air to Gone in 60 Seconds to I think it was called Family Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Mm-hmm. The Rock.
The Rock.
It has a cheese factor, but it's so fun.
Well, it's Michael Bay, so it's kind of to be expected. But that's one of his best movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you see Pain and Gain?
No,
yeah.
Pain and Gain was awesome. Check that one out.
That was. Yeah. I probably would say like that and Superman, two best movies of the year so far.
Pain and Gain, totally awesome, and that's coming from people who totally give shit to Michael Bay all the time.
Yeah.
So.
Even though those ones, like, I give Michael Bay credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
You know, he's just one of the kind of directors, like, he does his thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I just feel like you just gotta kind of respect people for doing their thing almost.
They do their thing. Well, I guess my thing is he could be an asshole about it. Like, people were complaining about some of the things and choices he made with Transformers. He's like, fuck you, I'm Michael Bay. He
he does that kind of too.
About it.
Kind of like when he, like, yelled at Owen Wilson in Armageddon. He was like...
He yelled at Owen Wilson
But Wilson was, like, 5 minutes late, and he's like, what the fuck? I've worked with actors like Sean Connery, and he was never late once. What's your excuse?
Yeah, I can see
But
that.
Sean Connery has magical powers, though, too. You forget that. Owen Wilson doesn't have those.
Exactly.
He's also Sean Connery. What are you going to do when you yell at Sean Connery? He's going to look at you. You're going to know your place. You're going to shut the fuck up. He doesn't have to say anything. He's just going to look at you with an arched eyebrow.
Probably Sean Connery should have played every day, but he would just beat the shit out of Michael Bay really quickly. Send him as player. Okay, Sean, I won't tell anybody about you being late.
That's
That's
what I
right.
thought. You
Michael Bay.
You stupid cocksucker. I fucked every Bond girl. Even the one Roger Moore, George Lazenby's had. All of them. I fucked them all.
I was
Even
the
that-
stunt cock.
Even that fucking pussy Pierce Brosnan.
Stunt cock I was.
No, there's one I'm forgetting. Roger Daltrey. Did I say Roger Daltrey?
No, Roger Daltrey's from The Who.
Roger Daltrey, no.
Roger Moore, George Lazenby,
George Lazenby.
Timothy Dalton.
Timothy Dalton. That's
Daniel
what I was thinking.
Craig.
Daniel Craig wasn't there at that point, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, nobody rocked down.
Yeah.
Rock down.
Back time. We can get off trouble from the movie. But anyway, any other thoughts on this flick right here?
I don't know. I enjoyed it. I guess because I kind of like I didn't
You wouldn't
expect
know
it to be like amazing. Like, cause I remember at first I saw trailers, I was like, wow. Well, I guess it was kind of like the overtopness. Like children nowadays just can't. I just feel people nowadays can't watch like regular stuff anymore. And I've used this excuse like 100 times, but like I always use that movie Battleship. Not like that movie needed to be made, but that is a perfect example of that. Like we can't two ships fighting each other nowadays is not that cool anymore.
Yeah.
But speaking of things that were not that cool though. What about that dance movie?
There's actually a few more things that just kind of came back to me.
Sure.
We'll jump on the dance movie in a second, because I totally forgot about the dance movie, so... actually kind of saddened me, given who's in that
It really was. At least that Thor trailer, I think, came right after. No, the Wolverine trailer came right after to, like, put my spirits higher.
There's actually...
For at least America.
I'll say, this movie right here, it wasn't nearly as over the top as I thought it might be. At first, when I saw the teaser trailer, I thought it was going to be like Wild Wild West or something.
Well, that's what I thought it was, too. It's like, oh, it's going to be, like, really, like...
I thought it was going to be, like, steampunkish and all that, and it wasn't. It was actually... I mean, there was over-the-top shit, but it wasn't anything, like, too... Like, well, definitely over the top. But nothing like, you know, like a giant walking spider or anything like that.
No, like, the most over the top is the fact that a horse is running on top of a train, kind of stuff.
Yeah, or like the train gets off rails and like flips around. It's like that kind of stuff. And it was just more visually interesting things, not so much that over the top.
Yeah.
And there's like, I actually want to say the guy that played the brother. What was the brother's name again? He played the brother because when he comes in, they get across.
I think his name is Dan.
Dan, the guy that played Dan, James Badge Dale, that guy. He did a great job. I really liked that character right when he came in. And it's almost kind of like I wish sooner. I understand he has to become someone else. I was almost like, just give that guy the mask.
Yeah. Well, let's see, even Johnny Depp wanted that.
Yeah.
He kept telling the horse, he's like, no,
Yeah.
go this guy's great instead.
Yeah, I know.
At least this guy's not like pussy.
I'll say, I mean, even some of the Johnny Depp parts were actually funny. I'll say
No,
there's
yeah,
some
it's
funny
not,
stuff
no,
in
it's
it.
not funny. I just think it's just like it's a lot.
Now, I don't know about you, Sam, me and Spencer. We kind of like, when everybody else laughs at kind of like the obvious stuff, you know, like Johnny Depp.
We're always like quiet, hands crossed, like
There's still some funny...
simpletons.
And not that, but we usually don't laugh on all that stuff because sometimes it goes like there's the part where it's like after they have that dramatic scene, he's holding the dead bird, and the horse, something wrong with that horse, heart attack.
Yeah,
you
blah
know,
blah blah.
there's that, and then so that kind of stuff. We're just kind of like whatever, you know. But then we always laugh on the most fucked up random things, and we both kind of know at the same time. Like there's the part where like
the kid got slapped.
The kid got slapped. You'd be the only one in the theaters that laugh.
Like busted up laughing.
There's another part near the end where they're having that big ceremony for the train. There's a guy shaking a bottle of champagne, and you and me both laughed. He was holding it lower, so it looked like he was just jerking off. The whole crowd below him. It's always that kind of shit you and me laugh at. We never laugh. The stuff we're supposed
I know. I saw that was just like busting.
I didn't catch that part.
Yeah, it was just like he was good jerking off. And he was like shooting off on
He's
people.
like, oh! He's like some old gold miner looking guy. Like,
He's spraying for everybody.
But no, overall, a pretty good flick, I thought. I mean, I wasn't amazed by it, but I liked it. And Hans Zimmer, I'm imagining by this point, because I was listening to this, like, maybe this is the guy that did Forrest Gump. It sounds kind of like the Forrest Gump soundtrack, because I was really liking the music in the movie. And then,
Who the fuck did Forrest Gump soundtrack?
I don't know. I know the things he's done. I can't remember his name, though. He also did the Captain America soundtrack, so...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, Hans Zimmer really fucking has the ball on every big movie that comes out.
I think he's just like elbowing everybody out of the way, like out of the fucking way.
And it's been like that for like 30 years too. I mean, like you see his name in more movies than anybody else as far as music composers go.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he really does. Like anytime there's a big movie out nowadays, is used to be like John Williams from like 70s to like 90s. You know, he had a pretty big like grasp on like the big movies. You know. But after about the 90s, though, it's just like, now Hans Zimmer's just like, fuck, finally John Williams out of the way, now I get everything! Everything!
He is the new John Williams, really, when it gets down to it.
But I mean, he's been doing stuff ever since, like, Top Gun and before that even, too.
I even kind of like, because they bring back the and it's the bit for, like, the big, like, action scene at the end of the movie. And then his shit starts to, depending on, like, how things turn for him, they have that same song playing, but they add a note or two to it and like slow it down for like, if it's like something good or bad happening. I really liked that.
Well, I like how they played that and they didn't use like the comical part, like, oh, this is silly, like the band played it or something like that. I like how they use like that's the song they used for the final action scene. I thought that was cool.
Yeah,
I really like that.
And then how they also like, I also kind of like they played like some like there'd be moments they played what sound like very. This is gonna sound so art schooly, but best word I can think to describe it. It sounded like really organic. Sometimes they'll bring in like kind of like the fiddle or kind of just like actual old Western instruments and come out with really just this really nice,
cool, like kind of like folk tracks in a sense.
Yeah,
like Western-y.
Yeah.
No, the music I thought was actually really good.
I really enjoyed the music. And plus, it was different for Hans Zimmer. I mean, I like his.
His is mostly always like big synthesizer stuff. Mm-hmm. Converted into like an orchestra. That's what his movies always feels like. Mm-hmm. Tim behind a piano, and every once in a while somebody else comes in and plays stuff with him.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so I guess dance movie.
Yeah, there was a. Do you remember what it was called?
No. I think it was back to the like Battle of the Beat or something, or Beat of the Bat, something like that.
Yeah, it was like something Battle of the World. And like
Battle of the
I remember when the trailer opened up. It was just like. The Koreans are taking over or something like this. It was like they made it like so serious, like this is the fate of the world. If the Koreans win this one more time, what are we as a nation? How can America stand with this?
For the breakdancing competition of the world.
Yeah. It was just like, I almost feel like that like Trey Parker Cartman from like the episode of like the High School Musical where it's just like, this is cool?
Yeah.
This is cool. Just like, seriously. It's just like one of those ones like, what the fuck?
And what saddens me is that the guy that played Sawyer from Lost is
he the main instructor?
He's the instructor.
He's like,
and
you're
Sawyer,
a basketball coach.
Sawyer was that guy, he was one of the best characters on Lost, as well as one of the best actors. And I've seen people from Lost pop up in different movies. And I was sad because I haven't seen. He had a cameo in Mission Impossible 4. He was the agent that died at the beginning.
Oh.
Huh. So I was kind of happy that what the fuck is he doing in this? You know.
I know.
I'm glad he's getting work. It was like
you look at these movies and it's just like really did this. I can't imagine wasting more of your time than going to see an hour and a half movie on dancing.
Well, I don't know if you're into that. I guess.
I guess that's one thing. It's like
you and me like westerns, so we go see westerns.
So we go see westerns. So I guess if you like dancing,
if you do this kind of
dancing,
if you do this kind of shit, I guess you'll go see it.
Yeah, if you make money off of it, then yeah, I guess you need to learn and watch and practice. But
I don't know. For me, it's one of those things. Just kind of like I guess we've seen this a million times. I guess you could say, well, we've seen how many different Western stories are there? I'm like, all right, whatever. Well, Westerns are cooler. So
yeah, Westerns are cool. There's guns.
Yeah, people die.
People die. It's like, is it big? I mean, what's somebody gonna die? Is they gonna like break their ankle in it? Maybe.
Yeah. It just looks like every kind of like coaching film. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Speaking of Westerns, you guys seen Django, right?
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, that's like the far best Western I've seen in a long time. So.
Oh yeah, Quentin Tarantino always will amaze.
Yeah.
Just about.
Django is, it's probably one of the best Westerns I've seen. More best modern Westerns I've seen in a while.
Now, was Lone Ranger the first Western of the year as far as a major motion picture?
I believe so.
I think so, too. I don't think there's anything else.
Yeah. Django and Lone Ranger brought in some money, so I think not to, probably like a vampire degree, but it looks like Westerns are sort of coming back.
Well, I think Westerns, that, people kind of forget there's still an audience out there enough. I mean, now I feel like they can't just sell any old Western nowadays.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Django, the main reason Django sold is because Quentin Tarantino. I mean, you could literally have that same movie, and if somebody else directed it, it probably would never have sold that much.
And the thing about Tarantino is, even though they advertise him as this kind of edgy, I'm saying this with him as my favorite director. Mm-hmm. Kevin Smith is my personal hero, but Kevin Smith is my favorite director. Quentin Tarantino is my favorite director. Django Unchained, the thing about that is you got Quentin Tarantino because he knows how to take like an exploitation, overly violent, just over the top action film, or sometimes not even all that much action, but just something very weird and edgy,
a genre that people would normally never see,
and bring people to it.
Yeah.
People who would not usually go see a Quentin Tarantino movie went to go see Django Unchained. People who would not usually go see like a kung fu movie went to go see Kill Bill.
Yeah, exactly.
Girls I know who hate like old like war films like the
Dirty Dozen.
Dirty Dozen, The Great Escape, you know, Kelly's Heroes. They went to go see Inglourious Bastards. So.
And as I feel, it's like perfect example is if Robert Rodriguez directed Django Unchained, like people would show up obviously, but not. It would have been like it would have just been another movie.
Yeah.
You know, and the Quentin Tarantino has that kind of like effect to draw in people.
Which I can't really pinpoint what it is because he brings in big stars and he has great dialogue, but it almost seems kind of like he does everything you're not supposed to do, and people still come though. I don't know what it is.
And
about
he's like that one guy who just kind of gets away with it. Like that.
Yeah.
That would not work for anybody else. Mm-hmm. Nobody else can pull it off. They could do the exact same thing, would not work.
Yeah.
Because you ever notice all the Quentin Tarantino, the only movie that's actually like a sort of like it takes like the Quentin Tarantino style, it paid off in the long run, not at first, was the Boondock Saints. Mm-hmm. Like that's the only one. Like that's literally in the long run.
Yeah.
Because that movie kind of started off like, oh, okay, nobody's coming to see it. And then it's like, now it's like, that thing's like huge.
Yeah.
Everybody's seen that movie, and it just seems like a strange one for everybody, like a lot of people to see too.
Well, I mean, The Man with the Iron Fist. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, that was
he produced it. He only produced
he produced it. That's what I was getting at. That
was a RZA film.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of people didn't see that one because I think, I mean, even though I think most of the time you put on from the creator of or whatever, people don't always look. I think people before you could say from the producers of Batman. Oh, this guy that made Batman. Let's go check that shit out. A lot of people now, I think, can see through that, so they won't always go to it.
I take that because, like, the one thing about everybody, when I kept telling people about Superman, though, everybody kept going, "Oh, the new Christopher Nolan movie." Like,
maybe it's not a case. Yeah.
Yeah, because everybody thought Christopher Nolan was the guy who directed it. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, he produced and wrote it.
Even though it says director of 300 and Watchmen on it.
Yeah, but people hate Zack Snyder. I don't know why.
They like 300. That's about it.
Yeah, and well, even a lot of people don't like 300 too. That's still a kind of that's like a movie that's either loved or hated. I noticed.
Yeah.
Like either people really like that movie a lot or they really hate it. And everything else Zack Snyder, unless you're a Zack Snyder fan, people don't seem to like it nearly as much.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He seems to be. He's probably gonna do number 2. I hope.
Yeah, I really hope he does. It's like, you know, I hope nobody like blames anything on him. Like, fuck you, Zack Snyder.
Like, hey, 300 too. I'm past that, dude. Just I'll
put
my name on it.
You know,
Yeah.
any money it makes, you know.
Part of me
Send it my
understands
way.
why. Part of me understands why. But in the trailer to 300.
Have you seen the trailer of 300 too?
Yeah, I saw it.
We'll see what happens. I don't know.
I was a little disappointed.
Well, the thing with it, it just sort of seems like, who knows, it could be a really awesome movie, but it does look kind of like
It's like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid too. It's like
yeah.
It's like, they died. What are we going to see here?
Well, apparently they're getting revenge on the remainder of the army's getting revenge on they're going to the Persians.
It's kind of like, oh, those guys, those guys did know what was going on. Boy, we should have listened.
Yeah.
Boy, are we stupid.
Eggs on our face. No, but it looks too much like, it looks kind of like Butch Cassidy, Sundance Kid too. It's kind of like when you get rid of the main character, it's kind of like, what do you do? It's like, well, maybe like The Bourne 4.
Yeah, it's just like
Bourne Renner. I don't know.
Yeah, The Bourne Renner. It's like
because Jeremy Renner was in that.
David,
I want Jeremy Renner to get his own franchise.
He just needs his own series. He's a fine
series.
actor, but don't nobody wants to be handed off. Like, here you go.
I'll be honest though, even though I love his Hawkeye, I do like him more in his more dramatic stuff, like in The Town.
Yeah, The Town, he does a really good job in.
He was the best part of The Town, I thought.
He's a pretty good part of it. Yeah.
You like the Affleck more?
I like the Affleck more.
I do like the Renner. I like the Affleck.
That was I think The Town was the first movie I ever saw of his, and I was like, that guy's a good actor. And I was like, I finally figured out who that guy was. Like, oh, he came from Modesto. For some reason, that makes it just a little bit better.
Hurt Locker's a good movie. It's not like the
all her other movies except for Point Break.
It's not Point Break. I'd say it's better than her other movies though.
Yeah, because I remember I went out of my way to like watch a bunch of her movies, and I was like. I watched about 3 or 4 of them, and I was like, not every single one of these movies you watch, it's like, because Point Break's fucking amazing. Everything else is just like subpar. It's like they're just like okay, like I've never watched this twice kind of movies. Mm-hmm. Not like they didn't have like something going for them, but
only other movie I've seen of her is just Point Break, Zero Dark 30, and
So you've
The
seen
Hurt
the
Locker.
new stuff of hers.
I've seen the new stuff. So going off those three, Point Break.
See, because I watched a bunch of like 80s and 90s ones, and I really just kind of picked ones that looked more interesting than the other ones.
Well, I liked Hurt Locker. It was a good movie, but it wasn't. I didn't think people say it's the greatest war film ever made. Like, no, it's not. It's good, but
Sometimes I feel like they do this like, and it's like they think they're not being sexist, but almost like this one's like, she's a woman and she made a war movie. It's got to be the greatest thing ever. It's just like, praise her now. It's just like, fuck James Cameron.
well, that whole thing right there, that Academy Awards just kind of annoyed me because they were making a big deal. It was Hurt Locker versus Avatar. It was David versus Goliath. It was beautiful. It was amazing. Dude, there were like 7 other movies there. Inglourious Bastards and District 9 were better than both those movies.
Combined.
Yeah. So, but yeah, back on that. I'm done bitching about that.
She actually has made more movies than James Cameron, though.
Really?
Yeah. Well, James Cameron doesn't make that many movies. He's made
He takes his time.
He's like made under 10 movies in his entire life.
He's still trying to make Avatar 2, apparently.
Well, how many makes Terminator 5? How many jumps back on that bandwagon?
Just make Terminator 5.
Or True Lies 2. Like, where the hell is that movie coming out?
Have it go back. Just have it go into. Just have it. If you do Terminator again, just have it be in the future. Don't. It's enough of the past shit.
Mm-hmm. Or True Lies 2. Come on.
True Lies
Come
2.
on. That's what we really want from James Cameron.
What was
Fuck,
that?
make
What was
another
the
Aliens
actress?
one.
What was the
Have him jump on like Prometheus 2 if Ridley Scott doesn't want to do that.
Sigourney Weaver, the actress in that?
An Alien?
No, in True Lies.
No, Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis. How awkward would it be just
The,
True Lies
the
2?
Alien True Lies crossover.
I'd see that shit. Who wouldn't? But actually, I got something to come back around to that in a second. The True Lies sequel has another like Jamie Lee Curtis like striptease, but now it's just so much more awkward and kind of hard to watch.
Well, she's still a pretty good looking lady for being
She's
like
good
60.
She's good looking now. Then I'll fully admit, even in that movie, she was still really hot.
She's all like covered in like yogurt.
Yeah.
She's always doing those hats. Lick the yogurt. Slowly.
Was she all covered in yogurt? What?
No, well, she always does those what's that company called?
Oh, she does all those yogurt ads, right?
Yeah. What's the yogurt?
Yoplait or Yoplait?
No. Activia. There we go. That's what it is.
It's fine. You can talk.
Okay, somebody's gotta chime in if we like just look here like, dude, what are you?
Laura, what was it? What was it, Laura? Thank you.
You eat yogurt, right?
What was it called? Activia? Okay, cool.
Activia, yeah.
Activia, yeah.
Still, True Lies 2.
No, but they mentioned the possibility because now every film company is trying to do like a world movie like Avengers. Like Hasbro for a while was like, okay, we're gonna fuse G.I. Joe, Transformers, and Battleship into one movie, and then whatever project they had working on at the other time, and then like Battleship sank, so no pun intended, and then like, never mind, let's just back away from this and just think about it for a second. Because we learned something. People give a shit about the Avengers. No one gives a shit about Battleship.
Yeah. If you don't have something that's marketable, then...
And then, plus, I don't know, I mean, even though I like... Transform films are alright. G.I. Joe films are like, silly, but they're fun.
Mm-hmm.
They seem little too different, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, I just don't think those things mix together well. I don't know.
I know they have a comic for it and all that. And then they were talking about doing we actually made a joke about this. I don't know if it's going to happen, but Ridley Scott was apparently trying to do this. Trying to make it so Blade Runner and Alien are set in the same universe.
Huh. That could work.
An Alien.
I think that could totally work. It sounds weird, but I think that could work.
And the only thing about
because there's nothing that really weird about Alien.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And the only thing I'm like, I don't know about that one is that one's owned by Warner Brothers, the one's owned by 20th Century.
I thought those were both Warner Brothers movies.
Aliens, 20th Century Fox.
No, it's not. Is it?
Aliens, 20th Century Fox.
I could have swore that's Warner Brothers. Maybe it is. Yo, you're right. Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
How the fuck else did Alien vs. Predator get made?
That's true. Well, sometimes the rights for different things can always kind of be different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they can. They can get mixed up sometimes. Eventually, they sold. I wonder because George Lucas. Sam, you and me were talking about this earlier today. George Lucas selling to like Disney. That's something. Even though the clues were there for 15 fucking years, Star Wars shit showing more and more up at Disneyland.
Yeah.
Didn't put this together sooner, but
I know it's one of those ones like nobody. It's kind of like blindsided everybody, I guess. Clearly,
well, it's like, oh, that's nice, that's cool. It just kept on popping up and just like,
oh, that's good. That's good that the mouse and the Lucas are getting along.
Mouse and the Lucas. That's like a buddy road trip film right there.
That's what we need. We need the George Lucas Mickey Mouse road trip film. One, Mickey Mouse hasn't been in a movie for like 30 fucking years or something. 2, George Lucas hasn't been in a movie since like Beverly Hills Cop 3.
No,
He's
yeah.
going on a road trip. George Lucas, he's retired now. What the fuck else is he going to do? He's
know.
going on a road trip with a mouse.
And not even a CG mouse. I mean, I'll take a CG mouse. I don't care. However this movie gets made doesn't make a difference to
He'll
me.
take a seat. What if we just take a guy from like the Mickey Mouse suit at Disney?
That's what I'd want more.
He doesn't have the flapping mouth or nothing, you know.
It's just like a full-on, like a real good-looking puppet.
They get pulled over, like Mickey's getting blown by a hooker or something like that. Like George's the one like, oh, we shouldn't have done this, Mickey. Shut the fuck up, George. You know, I'll get us out of this.
You lost your fucking wallet.
Oh fuck, I lost my wallet. I'll go back. Maybe they won't recognize me.
No, it's too late now. We're gonna have to do something that nobody's gonna respect.
We're going to Mexico.
2 crazy guys lose all their money and go on a wild trip to Mexico.
All right, George. I got a good side, bad side. Good side. We might be able to get all our money back. All right, good. Thank God. Bad side. You have to enlist in a Russian roulette tournament. What? Somewhere in Tijuana. I want to see that movie now. But no, I was saying something about, we were talking about the whole, like, George Lucas and Mickey Mouse thing, how after a while, we didn't really, I can't believe we didn't see this coming, because more and more, if you look at Disneyland, more Star Wars stuff is appearing. Now he's having a whole Star Wars section in Orlando, of course, the good one.
Orlando always gets all the good shit. That always makes me angry.
It's just kind of like, you know, it's like, fuck Disneyland, fuck everything else. I'm just going straight to Star Wars. I mean, I don't really give a shit for driving to a theme park. I might go to there for Star Wars Land, to go to the cantina or anything like that. You know?
Well, I will say that Disneyland, okay, if it didn't have I haven't seen the new Star Wars section, but like the old Star Tours and the Indiana Jones ride, if it didn't have that, I really think my appeal would be not that high for it as much.
Well, now they even did
because those are always the 2 best parts of Disneyland.
They have the revamped Star Tours now.
Well, yeah, now they got something like,
and
which
then,
I kind of like to see.
Before it was
it's not worth $120 to go see it, but
Yeah,
I'd like to see it at some point.
Well, it's like apparently every time you get on there, you go to a different planet. It's kind of random. Which how much it's like we waited there for like 2 hours and get on the same planet, you know?
I know, every single time you get on, it's like, fuck!
Yeah. And then they also had, like, before they made the cell official, they had, like, the Jedi Academy thing, which my nephews went to, they told me about, and, you know. But now, I was going to say regarding, there's something I was going to say. We were talking about...
Well, the Indiana Jones ride, speaking of that also has, like, different, like, tracks on that, too.
This isn't what I was going to say, but just something I want to cap real quick on the theme park. Apparently, it's going to be as big as its own theme park. It's not like, okay, here's Tomorrowland. It's going to be
like California Adventure size?
It's going to be like California Adventure size, all Star Wars.
No, that's in Orlando, right?
That's going to be Orlando.
See, there's so much great stuff going on in Florida.
Yeah. You would think California would get that. It's way better state.
You think, like, let's not put it in Florida.
Here's the
Scary
thing.
shit happens
This is
there.
probably the reason why. Shit is really cheap in Orlando. Or in Florida. Less taxes are in Florida. I think that's the reason why. It's just like...
At first glance, you think, why do you want to go to Florida? There's, like, cocaine and alligators, you know?
Yeah.
So...
Alligators doing cocaine. Never
That's
know.
even scarier. You don't want to fuck with an alligator doing cocaine. But no, there's something we were saying about. I got on a rant there, but no, something regarding Lucas selling to Disney. Because that right there, like I said, that was something I never saw coming, even though all the evidence was there. Mm-hmm. Which I'm just kind of wondering how that happened. You know, it was like 20th century. He was like, okay, we got our three biggest franchise, probably X-Men.
Yeah, nowadays.
Aliens, and Star Wars.
Yeah.
And then maybe not Predator, but Predator's love still.
Well, Predator's
doesn't have enough
it's
movies.
like a classic movie.
It doesn't have enough movies to be considered like
a franchise.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you sort of could by this point. It's got fucking 5 movies if you count the Alien vs. Predator movies.
Yeah. Not like a huge franchise like Alien or something like that.
Technically, that's almost the same amount of movies as Alien has. It's only off by a couple.
But it seems like Alien always gets the bigger budgets. It always more anticipated. But anyway,
Predators was much better than like Alien 3 and 4.
Oh, Predators was fucking amazing. But anyway, I'm wondering if 20th century is like, hey George, what? We kind of noticed lately you've been going over to Disneyland. Why the fuck you care? Why the fuck you care? Nothing. I'm just curious why.
Well, Paramount cares too. That I know you had that licensing agreement to put Indiana Jones there and stuff, but they were wondering when
20th century Paramount.
Grand America could have really used that back in the day. I mean,
I'll tell you what I told them. What? Fuck them. Hangs up.
just gonna. But even Florida, here, this goes to another Florida thing. There's this thing that they have in Florida. It's called 70,000 tons of metal, where you get like on a cruise ship, and for like 5 days or something, they have like 50 metal bands at play.
Really?
Yeah, and you're on a cruise ship. And why don't they have that in California too?
I think there's the whole thing with Florida. You take that risk of getting stabbed because every time you hear some crazy story about like, I kid you not, I think this may have been on Christopher Titus' podcast.
Well, they always have that thing of like always in Florida, or like
there's I think maybe it was actually no, I think this may have been Tell 'Em Steve Dave. There's apparently a dude trying to fuck his wife on the table of a Chuck E. Cheese in Florida. Someone tried to stop him and then someone got stabbed.
Yeah, that makes sense. Florida seems to have a little bit of craziness going on there.
Yeah.
This must be why the taxes are lower. And
yeah. Look, everything's cheap. We got Orlando, theme parks and all that, but you risk you take the chance of getting stabbed when you leave your house.
Because like those ones,
they could just be out there waiting in the bush.
Like, you could live in Miami, and it's really about the same exact thing as L.A. You know, nowadays, too, they got all the same kind of businesses and everything, and it's probably about, like, a third the price of what it would cost to live in L.A.
Really?
Beachfront property.
Mm-hmm.
Third the price. Probably if not less.
For a long time, whenever I thought of Florida, I just thought of Miami, but now I just think of all these other things I hear about.
Think of, like, Vice City and...
I think of Vice, yeah. That was kind of like...
Scarface.
Vice City and Scarface. Yeah, which that doesn't sound so bad, you know.
That's not so bad. It's just a guy who just want to make some money.
Okay, 1 or 2 people got chainsawed in the bathtub, whatever, but
Yeah.
it just fucking happens.
You know,
Florida.
It's business.
It's Florida.
You just gotta go with it. It's so fucking hot out here that you're just pissed.
You like the fucking governor to Florida gets like, yeah, apparently a child got chainsawed while his father was fucking his mother on cocaine or whatever. He's like, hangs up the phone. That's Florida! Little Irish zooms.
Oh, Florida. They'll get you.
Yeah.
Well, I think that might be a good place to leave off at. So be sure to check out oldmanorange.com, and then also, if you haven't seen it yet, check out the new episode of Drunk Batman Robin, episode 6.
Mm.
You can find it on oldmanorange.com, or you can look it up on Newgrounds, Vimeo, and YouTube.
I also got the issue 2 to Grit, 100% done. That's on Facebook, and there's a link to that at Old Man Orange.
So yeah, till then, I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
I'm Ryan Dunigan.
I'm Sam Kern.
And we will see you next time.
Good.